Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming, homage to Master Sakya Chân Kung, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, homage to Master Dubten Dorji, homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher. Namo, the emanation body of Sakyamuni Buddha. And Namo Uchusuma, the divine Buddha King, with great authority. Semu, Tanchen Katso, Tutan Siddhi, all Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma lecturers, Dhamma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples over the internet. How do you do?
아이시테르 사랑해 오라미코 깨깨로 무쳐 스고인 이치와 키모지 주미 야비 뿌링뿌링 konnichiwa.
I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 9th, afternoon at 3 p.m. there would be Golden Mother Homa fire offering ceremony. I have told everyone before, without Golden Mother, there will not be Grandmaster Lu. Without Golden Mother, there will not be Grandmaster Lu. And without Golden Mother, there will not be True Buddha School. Without Golden Mother, nothing will be here. Nothing would have been here. True Buddha School, Leizang temples, the temples, the chapters, the spiritual centers, disciples from all over the world wouldn't be here today. Where would I have been? Where would I be? I was a survey engineer. Then I would have retired. I would have been a lonely old man. Very simple. So Golden Mother is the true founder of True Buddha School.
不是创始人，是
play a word
是
in
开
Chinese.
创的神仙。
Actually, it's the founder sage, not founder person.
等于弄西了，创始人。要吃金母很伟
The
大。
founder sage.
所以
Golden
呢，
Mother
你们要不要筑起
is
呢？
truly tremendous. So if whether you want to become primary supplicants,
要
no?
随便你们。
Yes, it's up to you.
要是金母最伟大。
Golden Mother is the greatest.
今天我们做这个会集金刚。
Today we perform Uchusma.
以前呢，师尊不
Before
会集金刚，
Grandmaster did not
以前
know
就是五大金刚嘛。这个密集金
there
刚，
were 5 the great Vajras or Herukas,
大
Guyasamaya,
德金刚，
Chakrasamvara, Yamantaka, Hevajra, and the last one in Tibetan Tantrayana,
那个有的用十人金刚，
they some say Kalachakra, some say Mahotara Heruka.
这是藏密的五大金刚。
These are the 5 great Herukas of Tibetan Tantrayana.
那我看会集金刚不太清楚。
And I'm not sure about Uchusma.
最早的时候，我以为
And
密集金刚
I thought he was Guya Samaya, but actually
法只是
they were different. They are
会集
different.
金刚是会集金刚，
Uchusma is
密
Uchusma,
集金刚是
and Guya Samaya is Guya Samaya. They are different.
那么这一尊呢，
And this deity in Japanese Tantrayana,
日本的密宗，中密、东密、
Chinese Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana,
藏密，当然也有。
it's very popular in Chinese and Japanese
这
Tantrayana,
一尊
and
这
of
个
course
会集
in
金刚
Tibetan
呢
Tantrayana too.
已经讲过很多次。
The origin of Chusama I have talked about many times
他
before.
是这个释迦牟尼佛
His
的时候，
when Sakyamuni Buddha was about to enter
的
parinirvana,
时候呢，几乎所有诸天
all the heavens, devas, heavenly
菩萨、
gods,
金刚
and many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and all the Deva Devis
也都来
all
见释迦牟尼佛。
came to see Sakyamuni
快
Buddha.
要涅槃的时候，有一
He was about to enter parinirvana, but there was a
诸天吧，
Conchigan Deva,
要
a heavenly
要进入涅槃。
being.
那么罗辑天
And Sakyamuni Buddha was about to leave the Saha world, about to enter parinirvana, and yet this Conchigan Deva was still enjoying himself in heaven.
邀请他来，
So, and many
来
uh,
见释迦牟尼。
many immortals were trying to invite
每个
him
剧有气
to come to send off Sakyamuni Buddha, but they never came back.
另外有一些这个有一些仙人，
And there were also some sages, not
有一些
the
仙人
Venerable Victor. Some sages also went to invite this
但是呢，
Conchigan Deva,
也是一样有气无回。
but all the same they went but never came back.
因为啊，这个罗辑天王在他的这个他的
Because
境界里面做了很多
the Conchigan Deva used lots of
他每一
filthy
个去啊，
dungs as his protection. So every one of them that went was warded off by the filth. So Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher, the emanation Buddha, body of Sakyamuni Buddha, and from his right heart chakra, he transformed a deity, Uchusuma, the divine Buddha king with great authority. Only he has the means and method to eradicate all the filths and protection. So he's also referred as the Vajra of filth. Is able to eradicate all kinds of filths. So eventually the conch Deva could stop his pleasure and come and meet Sakyamuni Buddha. So that's the story about how Uchusuma came about. He's not afraid of any filth. He's surrounded. His whole body is fire. He has a very full and robust, young and strong energy, and he has tremendous merits. So, like poisons, like the viruses, they're all filths. Bacteria, germs, virus, they're all filths. And this deity can take care of them. So we really hope that after performing this Uchusuma Homa, we would like to invite the Vajra of filth and to take care of COVID-19 and the first, second, third variants, that all would be eaten up by him. So I hope that Uchusuma, you have the best, you would find a way to eat up all the viruses. And the Earth is a very small planet in the universe. It's a very common, a very ordinary planet. And you have such tremendous power, you can eat up the whole Earth, but that would not be good. Just eat up all the viruses, so that we can return to peace on earth, so that we can live normally again. He has many names. Uchusma, Firehead Vajra, Indestructible Vajra, Vajra of impurities, Tactile Vajra. Those are his Vajra names. And his mudra. I think his mudra it's the most difficult one. This is the mudra. It's very difficult to form. And his mantra, the short one, Om Chilu Donan Hom Ru. I transmitted Utsusuma Dharma at the Madison Garden in New York, organized by the Vajra Diamond Temple of New York City. At that time, while I conducted the ceremony, I did not know that Madison Garden is the most expensive venue on earth. It's very expensive to rent that venue for the ceremony. It's very famous in the world, right? So we conducted the ceremony at the Madison Garden. His mantra, mudra, and his look. 3 faces, 8 arms, 9 eyes, and the body is black, blue, green, and the red standing up here. Each arm is wrapped by a dragon for a total of 8 dragon kings. And the right hand forms the open the mountain mudra, and the left hand forms the grand summon mudra. And the Dharma implements are Vajra bell, Vajra scepter, a wheel, halberd, lasso, and a sword. And the left leg is stepping on top of a mountain, and his right leg raises up like he's soaring up in the air. And his whole body radiates bright fire radiance. And he looks very wrathful. That's his appearance. So with mudra, his appearance and his mantra, they would comprise the requirements for a tantric dharma practice. I remember a joke. I think I told the joke last week about tiger and a cat. After I got home, nobody wants to become a tiger. If I say that the woman is a tiger, she gets angry. How can you say I'm a tiger? And today, someone asked a lady, "Are you a tiger?" And she said, "No, my husband is a tiger." So he asked her again, "So what are you then?" And she said, "I'm Wusong. Wusong is the one that beats the tiger. Beats and wins over the tiger." There's a legend in China called the water marsh legends, something like that. So it's very difficult to get along with or to deal with. She said it herself that she's a lion. So she's 师母. So lion is different from tiger. Lion is the king of animals of the forest. If you tell your wife that you're going to Africa to beat the tigers, then that's a lie. Because in Africa, they only have lions, no tigers. Where are tigers? In China, India? Not in Africa. And there are only lions in Africa. So Simu said she's a female lion. Whoa. That it's like I'm being oppressed by the huge mountain. And this man cannot move. It's a joke. Cannot move an inch. Someone was fired by his company. And the cause that yesterday the boss sent line text to the group. Meeting at 10. Bring your eating machine to the meeting room. And this person went to the room. And everybody brought their tablets. But he was bringing his bowl and chopsticks. It's funny. The boss said, bring your eating stuff. And he brought bowls and chopsticks, but in a company, it's the computer. Now we'll do the question and answer. From Taiwan, Lian Hua Xu.
虚呢，它这个虚字是一个永远的永，旁边有一个日，一个永，一个日。
And this is how you write it.
奇怪，怎么有这个法号3个字？
How come there's a Dharma name like that?
你没有的话，也是叫莲花一稀呀。
Even if you don't have it, there will be Lian Hua Yi Xi. How come there's no Lian Hua Xi? For us, like for the Dharma teachers, there are 2 letters, and disciples 4 letters. How come? The whiskers of lotus or what? How come there's missing 1 character here? Homage Grand Master. By chanting Buddha's name, Amitabha Buddha, for one's whole life, at the moment of death, one will be guided by Amitabha to be reborn at Sukhavati. But if one chants the names of many Buddhas in the sutras spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, Will one be guided to the Pure Lands of each of the Buddhas? Or should one be focused on chanting Amitabha's name to go to Sukhavati first? Then one can come and go between all the other Pure Lands. So what do you think? If one chants the names of many Buddhas in the sutra as spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, or just chant one deity, Amitabha Buddha. That's what he or she asked. Is it better to chant one Buddha or many Buddhas? And each of the Buddhas would come and guide him to all the Pure Lands. No wonder your name is Lian Hua Xu. Because you have so many hair. You're so hairy. Okay, let me talk about myself. For me, at any time, I always chant Namo Amitabha. Sometimes, if I'm happy, I would sing it, or I chant it, always Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amitabha. 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 这是念佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛。这也是念佛。That's also chanting Buddha's name. When we greet each other, we also say Amitabha. So normally, Grandmaster chants the Buddha's name. Every day I chant Amitabha Buddha. If I see the names of many Buddhas in the sutra spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, then I would chant them. Like also inside the Siddhigarbha Sutra and many other sutras, like Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra too. There are so many Buddha's names. I would chant them too. But the most important one, I would chant Amitabha Buddha. Why? Because Sakyamuni Buddha, only the Buddha spoke on the Amitabha Sutra. The Amitabha Sutra as spoken by the Buddha, and also the deliverance treatise or the Infinite Light Sutra as spoken by Buddha. So, in the Pure Land, there are 3 sutras and 1 treatise. They all tell us to chant Amitabha Buddha. That's for the Pure Land school. So for us, it's the same. There's equality between Mahayana and Tantrayana. At the beginning, Grandmaster also studied Pure Land School. The four Jiao. I also chant Buddha's name until now, non-stop. But if I see the chapter on praising the Buddha's names, I would chant. And then all the names and epithets inside the Hiking Guan Yin Sutra, I would chant too. But the most important one, I am chanting Amitabha Buddha. Because once you go to Amitabha's Pure Land, you can go to other Pure Lands. Because it's written in the Amitabha Sutra, in a very short period of time, you can bring the pure offerings to travel around all the Pure Lands, to make offerings to all the Buddhas. So I personally think that chanting the Buddha's name or Amitabha Buddha's epithet is number one. Whenever you have time, then you can chant the names of other Buddhas. Like the sutra spoken by the Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas. You can, of course, chant them, but we focus on chanting Amitabha Buddha, because Amitabha Buddha is Grandmaster's yidam, or main deity, and Padma Kumara is an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. So personally, for myself, I chant Amitabha Buddha every day. But when I encounter names of other Buddhas, of course I would chant them too. So it's not that I only chant Amitabha Buddha exclusively and not other Buddhas. But Amitabha Buddha is my focus. And I would chant the other Buddhas depending on the affinity. That's what I mean. For Lian Hua Xu from Taiwan, you can be single-minded and focus on chanting Amitabha, and the names of many Buddhas in the sutras spoken by Buddha on praising the merits of all Buddhas, of course you can chant them too, if you have time, because there are so many Buddhas. Just the Buddha names in the Hiking Guan Yin Sutra is already quite many. And there are also many other Buddha names in the praising the Buddha's name. So that's my answer to Lian Hua. Beard, or Lian Hua Xu from Taiwan. And then next from Singapore, Lian Hua Wei Cheng. Homage to Grandmaster. According to Lamdre and Grandmaster's many teachings, samadhi and meditation require a good mastery of chi channels and light drops. But for those who are still practicing the outer practices of four preliminary root guru yoga or yidam practice, is it difficult for them? to achieve samadhi or to gain spiritual union with the yidam? Or does the samadhi of the outer practices and the samadhi in the inner practices have different standard? And the second question, before attaining great bliss of the second and third level empowerments, is it true that one can only use precepts to suppress one's desires? Are there any other methods about desire? These are very good questions. There are many methods to enter samadhi. What is samadhi? It's single-mindedness, concentration, focus. There are many yogas. Yoga of Kagyupa, there's a yoga of concentration, yoga of renunciation. And yoga of one taste. And lastly, yoga of no practice. 4 kinds of yoga cannot be apart from single-mindedness. It's deeper and deeper. So yoga of concentration, yoga of renunciation, yoga of one taste, and lastly, yoga of no practice. And now, so in the beginning, for the Yidam yoga, before practicing the inner tantra, you can enter samadhi. That's the yoga of concentration. There are many methods for the yoga of concentration, many visualizations, you all know. One of them is by counting your breaths. You count your own breathing. In the past, when we read the Kung Fu novels, it's written that when one has to concentrate, the eyes observing the tip of the nose and the nose is observing the heart. That's for single-mindedness or concentration. If you want to learn about light-bodiness, like in the Kung Fu novel, like it steps to chase the cricket, you have to lift up your energy in order to levitate and to fly and walk lightly. At the light body Kung Fu. Doesn't matter what kind of martial arts you do, you have to lift up your qi. What is lifting up the qi? That's concentration or single-mindedness. In your studies or whatever you do, you have to focus. If you don't focus, then you would make mistake. So the first one is the yoga of concentration or focus. So in the yoga of concentration, before practicing qi channels and light drops, you can do it, like counting your breaths, that you never apart from your breathing. And one pointed meditation, you lit a stick of incense and keep your room dark, and your eyes keep looking at the dot of light. There's a drop of light at the tip of the incense, and your two eyes are gazing at that dot. So entering samadhi does not rely only on light drop channels and chi practices. But once you reach those practices, then you can utilize them to enter samadhi. The visualization of counting the breath, that's also about the chi. When you do the four preliminary Guru Yoga or Yidam practices, it's not the case that it is difficult to enter samadhi. If you know how to count your breaths, or one-pointedness, there's two basic ones and many others, many other ways to visualize. You can still enter samadhi and gain spiritual union with the Yidam. So the samadhi of the outer practices and the one in the inner practices, are they different? In Mahayana Buddhism, they don't practice chi, light drops and channels. Not only that, they oppose it. There's Mahayana Buddhist masters that especially instructed their followers not to practice light drops, chi and channels. Because they are very complicated, like Lamdre. And Mahayana Buddhism is rather straightforward. They don't practice chi, light drops and channels. Of course, if you use the chi channels and light drops to enter samadhi, of course, because you use different method, there would be different standard or different level. That's the answer to Lien Hua Wei-Chen from Singapore. And before attaining great bliss of the second and third level empowerments, is it true that one can only use precepts to suppress one's desire, or are there any other methods? Of course, the precept is to stop evils and to do goods. Precepts is the method to avoid evils and do goods. Sakyamuni Buddha at that time, in the beginning of the Sangha, there were no precepts. And because spiritual cultivators started to preach to create problems, to preach the ethics and virtues, and because they violated them, so the Buddha started to set the rules, which are the precepts. Because in the beginning, there were no precepts in the Sangha. But because of the bhiksu, bhikshuni, upasaka, upasika started to violate some rules, so Sakyamuni Buddha set up the rules one by one. That's why now we have so many precepts. In the very beginning, the first precepts were not to kill, to steal, to lie, to adulterate, and to intoxicate. the most basic of many precepts, because these 5 precepts were all bad. And afterwards, many precepts were established. So, any other method than suppressing one's desire? The Buddha used the precepts. After he established the precepts, he asked us never to breach the precepts, that you still have to abide by the precepts. Actually, there are many other methods. You don't have to use precepts to suppress your desire, but you still have to abide by the precepts. Sometimes Grandmaster really wants to scold on someone. Especially, it's really satisfying to curse. And in English, there are many curses like shit on you. Especially when we chant the mantra, we would make it Om Ami Dewa Shit. America, when they're upset, they would always say shit. There are so many curses. It makes you feel good cursing, but no, that's not allowed. Buddhists should speak gently and kindly, and we have to abide by the precepts. There are other methods. Like Simu once said, as an example, because Simu is not here, so I use her. Simu is not here, but it's not that she's not here, she's watching. But it's truthful what I'm saying. Simu said, and Grandmaster really didn't like what she said. I really felt upset by it. And the same way, sometimes when I say something, she also felt upset, and immediately she would revert, would revenge. She would react very fast if she doesn't like what I say about her. And for me, like when I don't like what I hear, I wanted to react, but I did not, because she was a lion. And then what should I do? So I put my mind on something else. Then you can suppress what you wanted to say, what the coarse words that I wanted to say. If I say it, she would be even unhappier, and then I would suffer even more. So what use is there? So the only way to stop her continue as a man to maintain his dignity, I would walk faster and abandon that area of conflicts. So that's also a method in communication, in words. It's unavoidable for a couple to fight or argue. And Grandmaster never gets into any fights. I never beat anybody in all my life, not even my children. I've never beaten my children, Fo Qi, never. Because I was beaten up when I was little. I grew up in an abusive family. I was beaten so much, and I knew how much it made me suffer. So I never beat anybody. And I don't even scold anybody. It never happens on me. From kindergarten to university, I never get in any fights. Are you protesting? Well, your protest was right. Only one time. I was meditating, and Fo Qi were very noisy behind me. And I just I was meditating, and they were shouting around me, so I used my hands to push them out a little bit, and they always remember that all their lives, and that was the only time, and they still remember it. I never beat them nor scold them. And about other desires, you use the precepts to suppress them, and many other methods too. When your desire is aroused, then you think of cool things. You climb the mountains, you look at the water and flowing river, the calming things. And you go to the lake.
Seattle have so many trees, so many lakes and the mountain. You can go outside, take a walk, see the tree, flower, beautiful flower. 这个漫步，绕塔，都是。
You can stroll. You can circumambulate the pagoda or the temple.
去看佛像的庄严。
And look at the beautiful images of the Buddhas. And go outdoors in the mountains and near waters to decrease your desire. And look at the trees and the flowers, and to look at the books by the sages. Or you can also watch the programs like from Geni Dian Sang Xin Den, or programs that are positive and educating, or you read books like the clear, cool mind of the moment to decrease or to eradicate your desire.
I born in Taiwan, but now in Seattle, now in Washington State. I have the two temples. One temple in Raymond, one temple in North Bend, one temple in the North Bend. Seattle temple in Raymond City. Every Saturday night, 8 o'clock, have the ceremony and teach the Buddhas. In North Bend is Rumpo Lezang Temple. After every Sunday, after 3 o'clock, have the fire offering and me teach the Buddhas. 就是这样子吧，这是宣传吧。也跟你们宣传。
So that's
用戒律来自我压制，当然还有
to tell you about some
你去参加
advertising, publicity.
法会，参加法会。
Other methods like you can attend ceremonies or group practices or listen to the Dharma teachings. Then you would naturally know many other methods. And this is from Canada by Lian Hua Liao Wu. The respectful Grandmaster, Living Buddha Liensen Amitabha. On December 13, 2015, during the White Lotus King Grand Ceremony in Hong Kong, I heard the sound from the sky. Then an image of Sakyamuni Buddha appeared vividly right in front of me. And from then on, anytime I chant Guru Mantra in front of my altar at home, as soon as I close my eyes, I can see from top to bottom Mahatara Heruka's Tanka, Golden Mother, Living Buddha Liensen, and the Earth God, radiating light, and there's blue light in the Tanka. Recently, when I chant Ishichogal mantra, her Dharma throne exudes bright light. Grandmaster, is this sign of spiritual union? I'm not after transcendent power. Please explain. Lian Hua Liao Wu from Canada. During the White Lotus King Grand Ceremony in Hong Kong, she heard a sound shwa from the sky, and the image of Sakyamuni Buddha appeared vividly right in front of her. And from then on, anytime she chants the Guru Mantra in front of her altar, as soon as she closes her eyes, she could see Mahatara Heruka Tanka, Golden Mother, Living Buddha Liensen, and the Earth God radiating light. And there was blue light in the Tanka. And recently, when I chant Ishichoga mantra, her Dharma throne exudes bright light. These are all spiritual responses. These are spiritual experiences, spiritual responses, and some sighting or vision. So this Lian Hua Liao Wu from Canada should have strong spiritual root. There are three kinds or three levels of disciples. One, with high quality of spiritual root, medium, and low. So those with high spiritual root, then they would gain spiritual responses very fast. They have strong spiritual roots. They have cultivated spiritually in their past lives. So by attending ceremony, they are able to see Sakyamuni Buddha. And afterwards, she is able to see the light of all deities. And by chanting Ishichoga mantra, Ishichoga's Dharma throne exudes bright light. These are all spiritual responses, signs of responses. So he or she is a disciple with high spiritual root. And the medium spiritual root just goes step by step. So the first kind is the sudden enlightenment or sudden Dharma practices. Immediately they gain spiritual response. And the medium spiritual root would go step by step. And then the lower spiritual root, then they're like turtles crawling. Other people have been flying, but they're still crawling. That's for the low spiritual root. However, they will eventually reach the destination too. The first one is the fastest, and then medium, and then slower. Fast, middle, and slow. And you are one with high spiritual root. That's wonderful. Lian Hua Liao Wu from Canada. So this experiences of spiritual response and spiritual union. It's good that you don't care about transcendent power, because sometimes some people have some transcendent power and they get off the deviant path, get on the deviant path. Many people only see lights after practicing a long time, but not for this person. Immediately they're able to. Now let's expound on Lamdre. Also, the one visualizing one's yidam vividly and immovable amidst bliss and emptiness is called the Samaya Heruka. The one to invoke and merge with the wisdom sattva is called the other wisdom Heruka. The one appearing from the yidam's image and their wisdom state is called the Heruka, who is able to show appearance by merely drawing up a fake name. One is able to give rise to emptiness and bliss is called fake name Heruka. In the meaning of all phenomena, one is giving rise to emptiness and bliss is called meaningful wisdom Heruka, for a total of 21 of them. 11 kinds of Herukas, and each one of them has its own meaning. So, visualizing the yidams vividly and immovable amidst bliss and emptiness. Whether it's bliss or emptiness, you're unmoved and you can see the yidam very clearly. Then they are called the Samaya Heruka. It's a name. And there are a total of 11 Heruka names. The one to invoke and merge with the wisdom sattva You enter into Vajrasattva or wisdom sattva. It's called the other wisdom Heruka. The one appearing from the Yidam image and their wisdom state is called the Heruka, who is able to show appearance. All the state of wisdom appears. And by merely drawing up a fake name, one is able to give rise to emptiness and bliss. So just by drawing a fake name to emptiness and bliss is called fake name Heruka. And in the meaning of all phenomena, one can give rise to emptiness and bliss is called meaningful wisdom Heruka. So emptiness is bliss and bliss is emptiness. Therefore, the four blisses are also four emptiness. So when they are transformed, they become emptiness. Why? Is there any bliss that you can hold on? The initial bliss, the superior bliss, the most supreme bliss, innate bliss. Once they are transformed, they become four emptiness, four kinds of emptiness. So, which kind of bliss can you grasp? So you're very happy now, so show it to me. Nothing can show it. Nothing can show your happiness. Someone shows joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. But those are just expressions, just expressions. They're just expression of the emotions. So, the meaning that came up from emptiness and bliss, or when you enter into the wisdom sattva, that's called the other wisdom Heruka. They explain the names of the Herukas, and there are a total of 11 of them. Yesterday, we have talked about several, and together with this, there are 11. Thus, the meaning of being blessed and abiding on one's own body to enjoy bliss is referred as the honorable. In sum, there are 24 empowerments of the honorable true nature. There are so many kinds of empowerments. The empowerments of the 5 wisdom, of the 5 mudras, and the Heruka empowerments. In total, 24 kinds of empowerments of the honorable true nature. Also, the yogi endowed with the following spiritual experiences, such as the hands are moving and forming mudras, he receives the empowerment of the mudra true nature. With the legs stepping to form an altar, he receives the empowerment of altar true nature. When speaking secret mantra, he receives the empowerment of mantra true nature. And the mind is forming thoughts to form contemplation, he receives the empowerment of contemplation true nature. If one has the above four true nature spiritual experiences and realizations, then for the wisdom, one receives the wisdom empowerments. In sum, these empowerments are the cause of the main interests of the 11th and 12th grounds, and they're combined and understood here. The cause of the main interests of the 11th and 12th grounds of bodhisattvahood. So, the mudra true nature and the leg stepping to form an altar, that's the altar true nature. And speaking secret mantra, mantra true nature. And the mind, forming thoughts, contemplation, true nature. So anyone have this four true nature, they are bodhisattvahood of the 10th ground. And in Tantrayana, the 11 and 12 are not considered Buddhas, but bodhisattvas. But in Mahayana, they're considered Buddhas. They're all mudras. This is mudras. Slapping mudra. Slapping you, that's also a mudra. But don't learn them, okay? Anything is mudras. Number one, that's also mudras. I love you. The mudra for I love you. This is you. This is why. I. This is and then I love you. We. L. Love. I love you. This is also mudra. And how about this? Yappy, what does it mean? You don't know? This is girls pretending to be cute. Girls love to do that. Bling bling. This is happy. Everything is a mudra. So once you know about mudras, the mudras that Grandmaster knows are taught by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are slightly different from most people's. Like how I play the Vajra bell and scepter, I was taught by Vajrasattva. They include purifications, enrichments, magnetization, and subjugation. This is magnetization. Magnetization. This is subjugation. This is purification. Purification. This is enrichment. Purifications. Enrichment. Subjugation. Magnetization. These are all mudras. And this is boundary protection, and also enrichment. So when the hands are moving and forming mudras, one receives the empowerment of mudra true nature. I was taught by Vajrasattva, so that's mudra true nature. I also learned steps, like at the Seattle Lichang Temple. Before I give blessings to everybody, my legs would be stepping here and there to form an altar. That's the altar true nature. So those steps I have learned, I was taught by the intangible. They lift up my legs at night. So that's altar true nature. When speaking secret mantra, that's the empowerment of the mantra true nature. Those are the mudra true nature, or mantra true nature, and then contemplation true nature. That's samadhi, entering samadhi. So once you have these 4 true natures, then you have gone the 11th or 12th ground. That if you can enter samadhi, you have reached the 11th and 12th ground. And also you have to have this 4 true nature. A kid told his mom, why am I the 2nd generation of poverty and not of the wealthy? And the mom replied, I never told you before. You're not the 2nd generation of poverty. And the kid was very happy. Really? There's a secret I didn't know. And the mom said, from your great-grandpa to you, it's already 18 generations. In 18 generations of poverty. But let me tell you, we are not poor. Why? We have merits. We are very fortunate because we can learn the true, authentic Dharma. So we are most fortunate.
非常感谢法王生真点生